And we kick it off with breaking news. Israel's defense minister ordering strikes against Tehran to resume. As it says, Iran violated the ceasefire brokered by President Trump less than 3 hours after it began. The ceasefire beginning shortly after midnight last night and then just broke before it took effect. 4 people were killed when an Iranian missile hit southern Israel. Iran launching at least 2 more barrages of missiles at Israel after midnight through Tehran. This morning is denying it. Israel is vowing to respond forcefully to any violation of the ceasefire. Yesterday, President Trump writing on Truth Social in part, quote, "Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions. For 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world." The shock announcement coming hours after Iran told the United States it was going to fire upon an American airbase in Qatar. All those missiles intercepted by Qatari forces. No injuries reported, nor any damage to the building in Qatar. And then this, just after midnight, the president writing, "The ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it." Joining me now is former CIA station chief and Fox News contributor Daniel Hoffman. Daniel, thanks very much for being here. How would you assess the ceasefire now that we see that Iran may have breached it?
Well, first, let me just take a step back and emphasize that those strikes over the weekend against Iran's nuclear facilities were important, obviously, to destroy Iran's nuclear capability. But they also established escalation dominance with an eye towards deterring Iran from future strikes. Iran launched this token strike against our airbase in Qatar, but not before warning us that they were doing that beforehand. It also induced Iran to enter a path towards negotiations. Now, the ceasefire is a bit shaky. I think we're still waiting for more details about how Iran broke it. Was this a decision by Ayatollah Khomeini, or perhaps it was an element of their command and control just not even being able to function very well, and a piece of their military launching these strikes without being ordered to do so. So there's more work to be done on the ceasefire, but we're on the right path.
I mean, Israel today is vowing that it will respond to Iran breaking the ceasefire. Are you expecting this ceasefire to be in place, or is it hanging in the balance?
So I think Israel has to respond after Iran's strike killed 4 Israeli citizens. And then the question is whether after that we return to the ceasefire. I expect more of a diplomatic full-court press from the United States, from President Trump and from Secretary Rubio, to ensure that we get back on the right path.
Vladimir Putin held a phone call with the King of Bahrain this morning to discuss restoring peace to the Middle East. Russia claims it's in favor of a ceasefire, but has done little to help Iran, certainly, despite a strategic partnership signed earlier this year. It's interesting to see nobody is going to Iran's corner here. The Wall Street Journal says that the Kremlin is more focused on prioritizing its own interests, though, and not rocking the boat with Israel or the United States. Daniel, how would you assess this call and Russia's role?
Russia just doesn't have a whole lot of diplomatic or military throw weight anymore in the Middle East. And they're kind of a paper tiger when it comes to supporting their allies. Look, Syria was Russia's ally, and the evil dictator Hafez al-Assad was overthrown, and Russia couldn't do anything about it. They're wholly engaged in this barbaric war on Ukraine, which has devoted all of their resources. Yeah, they signed a long-term strategic partnership with Iran, so did China, but that didn't have anything to do whatsoever with deterring the United States from conducting our justified military operations and taking the lead in trying to bring peace to the Middle East.
Daniel, President Trump leaving for the Netherlands moments ago. He's en route, of course, to the NATO summit at The Hague. The 2-day meeting expected to put the focus on defense spending and Ukraine aid. But, of course, we're also expecting the Iran-Israel conflict to be top of conversation. What are you expecting from our NATO partners here?
Well, I think, look, support from our NATO partners is important. We've seen from governments like Germany, for example, supporting the United States military action. I'd like to see that, maybe a communique after the summit in support of U.S. efforts in the Middle East. Look, Europe has tried to dial down the military action in favor of diplomacy. There may be a time for that, and Europe could play a role in helping us diplomatically, but I think they need to acknowledge that the United States military strikes is what apparently has set the table for whatever sort of successful negotiation we might be able to proceed with. It's also an opportunity just to cross-level amongst ourselves about the potential threats from Iran's sleeper cells, and emphasize the importance of Europe rearming and spending what they need to spend on defense. I'm sure the president will be reiterating those important concerns on the part of the United States.
For sure. Daniel, great to get your insights as always. Thank you, sir.